Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Bitcoin update. People use the claim that the majority is always wrong too loosely in the cryptocurrency space, and right now they're using it to try and debunk the 4-year cycle theory. They are making the claim that the majority of people believe in the 4-year cycle, the majority of people believe Bitcoin will not go to new lows below 15K, and hence Bitcoin will do so. I disagree. I disagree quite strongly for a few reasons, and I believe my reasons are actually much more logical, than the reasons supporting that idea. So we're going to be looking into that. We're also going to be looking into the ETF news and what Bitcoin is going to be seeing from an ETF bullish narrative. I think an ETF is likely to be approved. It just matters about when. And so obviously a bullish narrative is going to form from that. A bullish narrative is already present. But then I'm also going to be addressing some of the overly bullish narratives that are coming out. One in particular is the stock to flow model. The stock to flow model predicts a $455,000 Bitcoin by June 2025. I think that is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm going to be debunking that claim today. So guys, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay guys, so we're only looking at one chart today. We have a stock to flow model chart, we have the 4-year cycle chart. So very simple, very straightforward. Before we get into it, the VIP group is on Telegram. You can check out the VIP results and information group for free. In that group, you'll gain access to the PDF, which hosts kind of all of our trading results there. You can see every single trade we've taken, 79% win rate. We've also got a 14-day free trial membership and also the prices, etc., what you get with the VIP group. Check all that out in the free information results group. Without further ado, let's get into the content. I want to start by kind of addressing the first point I made in the introduction. The whole claim the majority is always wrong. Now, what am I comparing that to? What am I, putting that claim towards? Well, here's what I'll say. I'll say this. The 4-year cycle is a very real trend, and we discussed it a lot in the last video. I'm not going to spend too much time discussing it now, but I do want to just quickly give you an outline of what it is for the sake of context so I can actually answer the question effectively. The 4-year cycle is a trend on Bitcoin that has started in the 2012 halving. It's been present throughout the entire lifespan of Bitcoin. The vast majority of people who invest in Bitcoin have at least heard the word 4-year cycle, and most of them probably invest based off of it, right? It basically is a 4-year cycle in which we see 1 year of bull market, 1 year of bear market, 2 years of sideways. That's how it goes. Right now, we're in this 2 years of sideways phase. During 2025, we'll see the 1 year of bull market, and that will actually start kicking off after the halving next year. So we know that's the structure. We know it's a trend. It's mathematically proven to be a trend. There are 5 separate data, what do I say? There are 5 separate micro trends that make up this larger trend. There's days from bottom to top, from top to bottom, from bottom to bottom, from top to bottom, from bottom to halving, and they all point to the same location. They all point to Bitcoin being, topping out at around October 2025 and then bottoming out the year after in Q4 2026, right? This 4-year cycle is what I used to predict the top in 2021. It's what I used to predict the bottom in 2022. Both of those predictions were made within a month of accuracy, just based purely on 4-year cycle. They were extremely accurate, just based on this trend. So we know it's true. And so here's where we get to the criticism. The criticism of the 4-year cycle can't stem from the 4-year cycle itself, because the 4-year cycle itself is a proven trend. It's objectively true. There's no subjectiveness about it. It's true. So what people will do is they'll make a criticism about the 4-year cycle saying, and using the very popular claim, the majority is always wrong. And so hence, if the majority agrees that the 4-year cycle is true, and the majority thinks that Bitcoin will be reaching an all-time high in 2025, and the majority thinks that Bitcoin will be breaking below 15K, not breaking below 15K, the majority thinks the bottom is in, then, based on the statement, the majority is always wrong, we should be seeing new lows on Bitcoin, right? Sooner rather than later. We should be seeing all of those people invalidated. We should be seeing Bitcoin crashing down below 15K. This is my problem with the majority is always wrong. I'm going to say right now. Well, first and foremost, even if you Google the quote on Google, it comes up with the full quote. The majority is always wrong and the minority is rarely right. Now, what that means is basically it's a nuanced quote. People just take the first bit of it. They say the majority is always wrong and they make it make sense. But in reality, it doesn't make sense. The whole quote is nuanced. The whole quote, the majority is always wrong, the minority is rarely right. It means it's nuanced, right? It's not as simple as, okay, the majority is always wrong, full stop. It's a nuanced situation. I have 2 major disagreements other than the fact that it's nuanced and other than the fact that the quote is taken out of context. Problem 1 is it's very difficult to quantify the majority, especially in the crypto market. People think that, if crypto Twitter is bullish, that means people are generally bullish and that means the market's generally bullish. It's not really how it works, right? the majority is not something we can definitively quantify. We can have our subjective opinions on what the majority is. Even when I do community polls, even when I say in my community polls that gets thousands of votes, do you think Bitcoin will reach 100K in 2024, for example? There'll be, 40% will say yes, 60% will say no. I can't take that poll and use that as definitive evidence as to what the majority of people in cryptocurrency speak, because I myself, having this YouTube channel, am purporting a certain bias, and therefore my viewers are likely to have a certain bias as well. My channel is not the objective arbiter of truth for the entire sentiment of the cryptocurrency market, and neither is anyone's channel, and neither is any particular platform. Therefore, you cannot objectively quantify what the majority thinks, which already puts doubt into the claim the majority is always wrong, not because the claim is wrong, but because it's impossible to know what the majority actually knows, and therefore it's impossible to take the claim seriously to any great extent. And problem 2, which is actually probably more important in relation to the 4-year cycle predicament we have here, because obviously the 4-year cycle, we can't really make the case that the majority of people don't believe in the 4-year cycle. I think it's very well established that the majority of people at least understand the 4-year cycle exists. So perhaps point 1 isn't entirely relevant to it, but it does add a little bit of doubt to it. Point 2 is very relevant. The majority of people is not the majority of capital, okay? Now, when you say the majority is always wrong, and you're applying it to a financial market, what you have to understand is a financial market doesn't move based on the quantity of people making orders. It moves based on the quantity of money, the quantity of cash, US dollar value, Bitcoin value that is in those orders. So the majority of people has no, it probably has a correlation, but it's definitely not perfectly correlated to the majority of capital. All right. So if you have 80% of cryptocurrency making sell orders, but 20% of cryptocurrency is making buy orders, that doesn't necessarily mean the market is going down, because the 20% of people making buy orders could have 10 times the money as the 80% of people making sell orders. So the majority is always wrong. Based on these 2 points, number 1, you can't quantify the majority, and number 2, the majority of people is not the majority of capital. It kind of makes the whole claim the majority is always wrong obsolete. Yeah, it's correct, but for all intents and purposes, it's not something we should be concerned about. We should be concerned about the charts themselves. We should be concerned about the data, the actual analysis that we can see. We shouldn't be changing our opinions on a financial market asset based on a quote that, honestly, I don't even know where it came from. I mean, it's not even clear where the quote actually originated. I think it's just been around for a long time. It's been quoted by many, many different people. And it's very nuanced, especially when applied to financial markets. So I don't think the whole majority is always wrong argument is actually an argument at all. I think it's just a sentence that people say, and I don't think it has any real meaning for the points I just listed. So no, I don't think that the 4-year cycle is weaker just because more people know about it now, because I don't think that's how it works. I also want to make something very clear to you, okay, on the topic of the 4-year cycle being invalidated. Yes, you can see manipulation. Manipulation occurs, manipulation is occurring right now. But manipulation is more of a short-term thing, okay? Manipulation cannot occur on a cyclical basis, right, to the extent of which people would like to believe it does. Obviously with things like money printing, technically that's manipulation, but I mean manipulation in a traditional sense. Manipulation is liquidity traps, is scam wicks, that's what manipulation is. You can't manipulate an asset to go up to a specific price point at a specific period of time, then go down from there at a specific period of time based on a specific pattern and formation. That's not really how it works. So I want to kind of put that forward as well. Guys, before we get into the next part of the video, let's take a quick little ad break. Ladies and gentlemen, here's a little news flash for you. You trust exchanges with your money. They get hacked all the time. They lose funds all the time. So the exchange you're using, you're actually trusting with your money. You're also paying them fees for trades. You're paying up to thousands, tens of thousands of dollars per year in fees. So you want to have a bloody good exchange, right? And that's why I have 2 exchanges for you guys, 2 options depending on your location, depending on what you want from exchange. The first one is BitGet. That is a KYC exchange. You can sign up from anywhere in the world, excluding the United States, excluding Canada, and excluding Singapore. Very low fees, protection fund, the whole 9 yards. We've also got BingX, that's our second exchange, and that is an exchange you can sign up non-KYC from anywhere in the world, including every country, right, with a VPN from anywhere in the world. Again, very low fees, protection fund, everything you need in an exchange. Both of these exchanges are top 10 exchanges in trading volume. Sign up using my referral link below to get a 15% trading fee discount on both of the exchanges. Again, they'll both be in the description. Referral link is there. Get on the good exchange and become a proper trader. Don't use these trashy exchanges that you're risking your money and paying over in fees. Guys, let's get back into the video. So what we have is a 4-year cycle now, and we know that ETF, the big ETF news really is coming up. We know that there is a deadline on the latest they can make an ETF decision is somewhere in January for a lot of the ETFs. For the second part of the ETFs is somewhere in March, and we know that the halving is in April. So January and March we're seeing ETF decisions. In April we're seeing the halving. So in the start of 2024 we're going to see some very, very interesting events. Most of which are going to be bullish, I assume. I mean, look. We don't really know what's going to happen with the ETFs, but we do know it's looking good at this point. Grayscale won a lawsuit against the SEC in which they basically proved that the SEC denied their ETF application based on no reasonable evidence and no reasonable grounds. And so based on that, either the SEC is going to have to come up with something new or the ETFs are going to have to be approved. And we know that BlackRock, for example, has applied for like 540 ETFs in the past and they've only been rejected one time. So they don't apply for anything they think they're going to get rejected from. And you think about the influence that BlackRock has, I mean, it's pretty likely the ETFs is going to get accepted at some point. And so I think that the ETFs being accepted will be the catalyst for upwards momentum as well as the halving. I think that the bull run will probably occur as normal. And I think all this stuff really purports bullish narratives, but I want to make sure people aren't getting ahead of themselves. Just because we have bullish narratives, it doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, okay? It means that Bitcoin is going to have a regular cycle. That's what it means. It doesn't mean Bitcoin's going to go to any specific price target. We've spoken about this before. We spoke about it yesterday. Go and watch yesterday's video, or the video I did before this video. I don't know if it'll be yesterday or not. Again, this is pre-recorded. I specifically went over my price targets, my price observations for the next bull market, for the next halving, and the peak, etc. I went over all of that yesterday. 103k to 197k. We'll be able to narrow that down after the halving. At this point, it's vague, but it's vague for a reason. So 103k to 197k based on optimistic and conservative formulas. Now we have things like stock to flow model stating that Bitcoin is going to be seeing 455,000 USD in June 2025. First of all, June 2025 doesn't even make sense from a cyclical perspective. June 2025 is not when the next top will be from a cyclical perspective. From a cyclical perspective, a 4-year cycle perspective, the next top will be in October or November 2025, not June. So straight off the bat, this claim is absolutely obsolete because it doesn't even get the 4-year cycle correct for some weird reason. I don't know who I think PlanB created this. I don't know who was behind this, but that is an absolutely appalling use of the data we have available. We have very strong data pointing to the fact that Bitcoin will be seeing a top in Q4 2025, not June. I don't know where this comes from, but on top of that, we also have a 455,000 Bitcoin dollar prediction on Bitcoin, which is just absolutely insane. Okay, and look, it's insane because all you need to do to prove that it's insane is this. Go to a linear Bitcoin chart. I love doing this because it really wakes people up to how stupid their predictions are. Go to a linear Bitcoin chart. All right, draw a line at where June 2025 is. This is June 2025. It's over here, okay? They think that the price from now to June 2025 is going to do this. This is where 400k is. They think the price from now to June 2025 is going to go to 450k. Therefore, they think this is going to happen to the Bitcoin chart. Does that look reasonable to you? For any even split second in reality, does that look normal? No. My prediction, my observation was 103k to 197k. 103k is over here. All right. That looks much, much, much more reasonable. And even that, okay, looks like, it's definitely optimistic, right? This is what I'm saying. These predictions, whatever they are, these stupid models that people create and they get shared on Twitter and everyone goes crazy about them for some reason. It's like, what is the basis of this? Why do you think Bitcoin's going to go to 455k by June 2025? What? Because of what? Because of this mathematical... What? Do you guys remember last cycle, all right? In 2021, last cycle, the stock to flow model, the same model you have on the screen right now, was predicting I believe a 350, 370k Bitcoin by the middle of 2021. And by the time we got to the middle of 2021, Bitcoin was at around 60k. Right? They literally just changed the numbers, reposted it, and act like nothing happened. They will do exactly the same thing this time. I want to be very clear. These overly optimistic targets have no basis in the 4-year cycle, and they have very little basis in reality. I cannot even sit here as a 4-year cycle believer and give you a clear, concise Bitcoin target. I have a 90,000 USD range. I'll be able to narrow that down next year, but as of right now, it's vague. If I'm this vague, what makes you think someone can say it's going to be in June 2025 with exactly 455k based on what? You know, who actually knows what goes into this? Not many people. So just be very cautious of that. So that's two things I wanted to get off my chest. I wanted to clear up the claims, the attempts to debunk 4-year cycle by saying the majority is always wrong. It's really not that simple, it's nuanced. And I wanted to also speak about ETFs, how they're likely, how it's going to lead to a regular Bitcoin market cycle. And I also wanted to speak about the ridiculously bullish claims that are coming out and how I completely denounce those claims, and I completely distance myself from those kind of claims, even though that I'm macro bullish. I'm reasonably bullish, I'm not that bullish. That is ridiculous. So guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check out the Crypto Academy Become a Trader course. You can learn everything you need to know about trading, everything you need to know about market analysis, market psychology, how to find trades. It's all on the website. Check it out. We've got our email address there as well. Throw us an email and we'll get back to you with answers to any questions you might have, as well as a payment information document. So as I said in the introduction, I won't be overly active in the comment section. I'm overseas, but thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back shortly. Cheers, guys.